Welcome to Action Hound Media, the site and channel all about action. Life's boring, get some more action into your life. Let's talk about crime. Crime, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Say it again. If you watch the news, it seems crime is on the rise and people are getting crazier. People are getting pushed in front of trains for no reason. A woman got lit on fire in the subways. There are cities where cops won't go into certain neighborhoods. Yet some pundits state that violent crime has gone down. In my opinion, I no longer believe in stats and the news that's put forth. I don't believe in the fake news. Numbers can be fudged, but everybody I know feels like the world is an unsafe place right now, especially here in America and New York. Poverty and unemployment cause some individuals to turn to crime, so that explains why poorer areas have a greater crime rate. Marginalized communities resent the man and use crime to assert control and fight back. Crime is often higher in communities where there is a lack of stable family structures. Children from single-parent homes or households affected by substance abuse, domestic violence, or neglect may be more prone to engage in criminal behavior as they grow up. Sure, but what is causing crime increases now, more recently? What is causing this surge of all these crazy people doing all sorts of bad things, right? One reason is COVID. The COVID-19 pandemic caused a dramatic rise in mental health issues, including depression, anxiety, and substance abuse. As people faced isolation, stress, and economic hardships, some turned to crime, either as a coping mechanism or just out of necessity. Drugs. Drugs have always caused more crime with the illegal drug trade. You got the gangs and the cartels and their turf wars. And what about the increasing legalization of marijuana? Marijuana is considered a gateway drug, leading to worse drug abuse, leading to crime. People on drugs are susceptible to violent outbreaks, lack of social control, and senseless behavior, like pushing people in front of trains. Another problem is lack of police presence. Some cities and states want to defund the police. Less cops, more crime. Cops don't want to engage in stopping criminals due to the fear of political and legal backlash. Why fight criminals if you could get sued or put into jail for it? There's a lot of cops out there that don't want to engage in saving people from crime because they're afraid that they're going to get in trouble for doing it. Also, there seems to be a desensitization to violence. This is a big one. Violent crimes and criminal behavior are sensationalized in the media, particularly in films, television shows, news. Constant exposure to violence and crime in media can desensitize people to crime, making it seem more acceptable or even glamorous. Social media and crime. The rise of social media can also have a darker side. Social media platforms sometimes amplify criminal behavior, including cyberbullying, online fraud, and even the live streaming of criminal acts. Ridiculous, right? There's gangs out there that post crazy stuff on this social media, and that's how they get caught. Very dumb, but it happens. Additionally, platforms can sometimes create echo chambers that reinforce violent and antisocial behavior. Less socialization. When people feel disconnected from society and lack trust in others, they may become more likely to engage in aggressive behavior and illegal activities. Legal system, that's another problem. When people see that the legal system is inconsistent or lenient, either through early releases from prison, lighter sentences, or lack of enforcement, they are emboldened to commit crimes because there is little to no consequence. Shoplifters, repeat offenders get let out of jail without bail and keep doing bad. So bail reform is one big reason why we have more crime in the world. Conclusion. The rise in crime is a multifaceted issue which seems to be getting worse. Maybe recent cases of police brutality, the Ferguson incident, George Floyd, the man choked to death by police, have led to a softening of police intervention, resulting no-go zones, reduced response by police, and, of course, more crime. So if everything runs in cycles, what happens when crime really gets out of hand? We have just seen an administration that was soft on crime, and you see what has happened. Trump's in office now. What if crime mitigation is like a cycle and we go from soft on crime to hard on crime, right? Trump once said that China doesn't have a drug problem. Why? Because they kill drug dealers. Trump kind of was hinting that our country should do what China does. Could you imagine if the government had hired assassins to kill violent crime offenders? Let's take a look at alternate justice systems in the movies. Movies often explore alternative justice systems as a way to critique or reimagine traditional legal frameworks, sometimes presenting more extreme or harsh forms of punishment for crime. These films tend to focus on the idea of justice being served, but in an unconventional or even brutal way. So here are a few examples of films that explore hard or alternative justice systems. One movie is Judge Dredd. There was a version in 1995 and there was a version in 2012. I reviewed this great action flick, the more recent one. In this futuristic setting, judges are law enforcers who act as both police, judge, jury, and executioner. In the 1995 Judge Dredd, the justice system is depicted as harsh, with the judges dispensing extreme sentences on the spot. The 2012 version, Dredd, emphasizes the oppressive and severe nature of the system where criminals face deadly consequences without much due process. Another movie, the Purge series, which started in 2013 to the present day, there's a whole bunch of Purge movies. In this dystopian future, the government in The Purge grants citizens one night each year where crimes, including murder, are legal. This extreme measure is presented as a way of controlling crime, but it also opens up debates on the morality of such a system where a temporary breakdown of law allows for intense violence and retribution. Another movie was Death Wish back in 1974. Charles Bronson's character in Death Wish becomes a vigilante after his wife is murdered, and he takes justice into his own hands by punishing criminals outside of the law. This film questions whether traditional justice systems is effective and suggests that sometimes citizens might take more severe actions when they feel the system has failed them. Great vigilante movie. Another movie is A Clockwork Orange. This movie is a classic. It was in 1971, Stanley Kubrick's adaptation of Anthony Burgess's novel depicting a society grappling with crime and punishment. The protagonist, Alex, is subjected to controversial treatments called the Ludovico's technique, a form of aversion therapy to reform criminals. The movie critiques extreme forms of justice that aim to correct the individual but strips them of free will in the process. Another great movie with an alternative justice system was Minority Report in 2002. In Minority Report, the justice system is built around precogs, individuals who can predict crime before they happen. People are arrested before committing crimes, and it explores the moral implications of punishing someone for a crime they have yet to commit, raising questions about fairness and the limits of preventative justice. Then we have Equilibrium in 2002. This wasn't such a popular movie, but it's out there. In this dystopian future, emotions are outlawed and citizens take a daily dose of a drug to suppress their feelings. The government forces strict control with harsh punishments for those who defy the system. The film features a brutal system of oppression where crime is largely eradicated through the suppression of human emotion. Another classic movie is The Running Man from 1987. In this dystopian thriller, the justice system is replaced by a violent televised game show where criminals are hunted and killed for entertainment. The government uses the show as a form of punishment for crime, suggesting a twisted version of justice that prioritizes spectacle over fairness. These films explore various forms of harsh and alternative justice systems, often as a way of critiquing real-world systems or imagining dystopian societies where crime is met with severe consequences. The themes of fairness, morality, and power are central to many of these stories, raising questions about the price of justice. Last but not least is my own intellectual property, Morbid Justice, a novel comic book which should be available now on Amazon. Morbid Justice is exactly that, justice by death. The government has instituted the Societal Purification Bureau, the SPB, where purifiers are assigned to purify, kill most wanted criminals, drug dealers, murderers, rapists, escaped prisoners. Much less due process in this world. Morbid Justice is about Troy Holloway, an SPV agent that suffers from multiple personality disorder. He has the nomad persona, which is a kill persona implanted by the government, who likes to see beauty in death and destruction. Then there's also Jacob, the guilt personality. Jacob is so sickened by all the killing, even though it is for the good of society, that Jacob wants to commit suicide. And then there's Troy, the one in the middle, the host personality, and he's just looking to survive his dangerous alters. So basically, you have one persona who wants to kill, another persona that wants to die, and Troy who just wants to live. That is the theme of Morbid Justice. Bounty hunters killing criminals. You never know. I never imagined that there would be parts of cities where cops don't want to go to. I would never imagine that there would be no bail laws. I would never imagine that I would ever see the day where people are throwing water on cops without penalty. Morbid Justice. That would be crazy. Check out Morbid Justice on Amazon. Action Hounds Unite.